guys, welcome to the In the Game Room podcast. Tonight I want to do an unboxing of 3 different products that have actually been out for a little while now. When these came in, I intended to do unboxings right away, but I was right in the middle of the building the game room project and a bunch of other things, so these got kind of put on the back burner. So I want to talk today about these 2 new products from Warlord Games. These are the new U.S. Infantry. I'm going to be doing a 2-camera shoot here so you guys can see the up close on this one and the bigger view on that one. And this one here is the 88 Flak gun from Warlord also. And then I also want to talk about something kind of unusual, a resin kit from Rubicon Models. Now Rubicon Models is known for their injection molded plastic kits, and they've been getting into pewter miniatures as well, and they've done a couple of resin kits as well. So I want to talk about this thing here. So let's start with the new U.S. Infantry. Warlord has of course had U.S. Infantry, since the beginning. I think they started with U.S., German, and British most likely, and they've just been adding to that, to those lines, and now they have hundreds of different products. So the U.S. Infantry was probably getting a little old as far as the quality. The sculpts have been getting better and better over the years, so the U.S. Infantry was probably looking a little bit tired, so they decided it was time to completely redo the line from scratch, and this is the result, the new U.S. Infantry box with 30 guys in there. The way they do these is there'll usually be 5 or 6 sprues with 5 or 6 guys on each one, so there'll be that many poses times 5 or 6. Let me see, so I can just quit talking nonsense, actually tell you what's in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sprues with 6 guys each on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that is correct. And then of course there's the 25mm lip bases as usual, and some decals for the shoulders and insignias and things like that, and probably a little card here telling us that Mirella, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, Mirella S packaged this for us. They've been doing this a lot lately in all of their products, so that if you do have a problem with something, you can write back and say that this was the actual person that packed it for me. Now I don't know if that gets somebody in trouble or not, so I would prefer just to write and say there's a problem, I don't know who packed it, but that's just me. So we have the 5 new sprues. This is my first time looking at them. I've seen some pictures online, but this is the first time looking at them. I'm gonna hold them up here for this camera here. Looks like these backpacks here are very similar to what we've seen before. Same with these, they look similar. The weapons are attached to arms already in every case here, at least one arm. Some of them they're attached to 2 arms. This makes putting the models together a whole lot easier. It does, however, slightly limit the different options you have for poses, but nothing I would complain about. Having 2 arms attached to a rifle already and then just popping that on a body just makes life really easy. Now I'll tell you straight away my first complaint. Well, first of all, let's talk about the quality of the sculpts and how they look. They look really cool. The detail on the figures, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but that's a bug zapper in the next room. Some big bug was struggling there for a minute, but apparently it's over. So the detail looks good. The all the different folds in the fabric and things like that look really good. I haven't measured one of these. Of course, I just opened this, so I haven't done anything, but I haven't measured one for scale yet, but they look to me like they're probably right around 28 millimeters. They don't seem terribly chunky. Now you guys probably know 28 millimeters is a measurement. It's a measurement from the foot to the eye, and most figures made in 28 millimeter scale are that measurement. Some figures are chunkier than others. They have, you know, big huge arms, big bodies, big heads, all that. But of course they're still 28 millimeter. They're just chunky style. I mentioned that because these don't look all that chunky. They look fairly well proportioned, and that's a very nice thing. So that's good. One of the complaints I've been reading online already is the fact that this contains 5 sprues, and on each one of the sprues is a bazooka and a shotgun. Shotguns, I believe, were only ever used by the U.S. Marines, not the U.S. Army, and these are U.S. Army guys. So the shotgun is kind of a weird thing. Now, I might be wrong. Maybe shotguns did get used in the Army. I don't know. But what I'm hearing is that that's a Marine Corps thing. So I don't know why there's a shotgun there. And bazookas, you know, a lot of people are saying, yeah, nice, it's a bazooka, no big deal, who cares? We've had those before, so that's really nothing new. I don't know if they needed to put 5 in here, but that's what you get when every sprue is the same. So anyways, I need to put these together and see what the poses look like and stuff. But based on what I'm seeing here, they do look pretty cool. There is a guy kneeling down. Let me see if you can see this on the video here. This guy here is kneeling down. He's got one knee down, so that's kind of cool. My complaint with this set and many sets is the lack of prone figures. There's a lot of guys walking and standing, and one guy kneeling, and that's pretty good. But it's my feeling. I've never been in combat. I've been in the military, and I've had some training, but I've never been in combat. But my feeling is that when you're in combat, you're probably down as close to the ground as you can get most of the time. If you're not walking, you want to be down, because that's where you stay alive. So having more people either prone or kneeling makes more sense to me, really, than having a bunch of guys just walking around. So I would prefer more prone guys. So I'm probably actually going to be looking for some older U.S. infantry boxes just to get those prone bodies out, and then use them with the rest, with some of this other stuff, and that'll give me more variety too. So I kind of miss those, especially for snipers, spotters. I like putting a guy down on the ground with the binoculars up, you know, on his elbows, that sort of thing. I think that's a cool look. A sniper should be laying down for sure, or at least kneeling, and we can do kneeling here, so that's cool. Forward observer should probably be down, and he should have binoculars as well. So that's my one and only issue so far with this set, and with several of the sets that they make, is not enough prone dudes, or not any at all. But those look cool. They look good. The pictures on here show the guys in their various poses and whatnot, and they look pretty cool. Gives you the standard layout of the sprue with numbers that tell you what everything is. Sometimes I've found in the past that these numbers and descriptions don't match. Somebody, you know, made a clerical error somewhere. I haven't checked this one yet. Of course, you just saw me open it, so I don't know what the story is there yet, but let's hope they're accurate. And then there's more pictures here of all the different poses, and it probably talks about, does it talk about painting here? It does not talk about painting. It just talks about gear and things like that. So there is a U.S. Army painting guide that Warlord makes that'll take you through all the colors and stuff like that. So that's cool. I like it. It's an improvement on the old one. Like I said, there's a couple things I miss, like the prone guys, but they are nice looking figures. So here's an interesting one. This is the 88 millimeter flak, or as they call it, the 8.8 centimeter flak. German anti-aircraft gun, which can also be used for anti-anything. Now it's really interesting that they came out with this, because Rubicon is working on one right now, and has been for a little while, and I'm imagining it's going to be released at the next quarter releases, which should be coming up in a couple of months. And the Rubicon model, from what I've seen of the samples, is going to be an awesome model. It comes with the wheel sets. There's a name for those, but whatever they are, comes with the wheel sets, and you can put it on and take them off of that, so you can show it, you know, stowed and being towed, or you can show it deployed. So it looks like an awesome model, and because of that, I thought it was a little odd that Warlord thought it might be a good time to do a plastic 88 themselves. They got theirs out sooner, and maybe that's the trick, because I know I've sold several of these, and so I'm sure it's doing well for them. But let's have a look. First thing we notice is that the crew falls out, and they are metal. That is expected. And this is probably the same, it looks to me like the same 88 crew that they've been selling for years with their metal 88 gun, which has been out for quite a while. So we got some bases for the crew members, and Mirella S also packed this for us. That was nice of her, so she's been busy. And this comes with decals. Looks like both for the figures and for the gun itself, so that's cool. It's got some cool kill marks, got some airplane silhouettes on there. Let's see if I can get this into focus here. That looks like a pretty decent decal sheet. It's got the weapons card, and this has the special rules, the options, the range, how many shots, pen value, HE template 3 inches, range 84, pen +7. This is a pretty brutal weapon. Am I reading that right? 160 points regular. That's not really too bad for the amount of damage it does. So that's kind of cool. Okay, let's put these back in here so everything goes back the way it was. And so we've got an assembly and painting guide. Get the glare off of that. Looks like a bit of a description of the gun itself, you know, the history of it, things like that. And then we go into, decal application guide. Oh, it even says, apply a coat of gloss varnish to the area, cut out the decal, soak it once it's started, blah, blah, blah. Use a tissue or swab away the excess water, apply a coat of matte varnish. So that's pretty cool. That's gives you a few tips on how to apply the decals, and the most important tip, to put a bit of gloss varnish on first before you put the decal on. Gives it a nice surface to adhere to. So that's cool. So then it goes into the instructions of assembly. Looks fairly straightforward there so far. And putting together the what do we call this thing? The base? Yeah, the base, I guess. And then putting on the gun shield. Now I've heard that this step, putting on the gun shield with these little fiddly bits here, 5 and 6, are a bit tricky. We will see about that, but I've read that online. So it tells you painting guide here with colors. They've got numbers. I recognize these as most likely Vallejo model color numbers. It would be good probably for other people who don't recognize that right off if they put, you know, that's what these are. But 830, 995, 979, 988, and 815, those sound like model color colors. And then the actual gun painting guide on the back. So that's a pretty substantial little pamphlet to go with, you know, a simple little model like this. Oh no, messing up my new game table. So, let's see what, I didn't bring a knife with me. So we'll just tear this sucker open. So 2 sprues, which actually look like they were originally 1 and then snapped to make packaging a little easier. So we've got our gun base here, the legs, a lot of other tiny little parts, some rounds, part of the actual gun mechanism itself there, the other half of that, the barrel, all these bits here, the gun shield. Looking at these parts, they look well detailed. Nothing really to say bad about it. Looks like it's got all the little rivet details and things like that, which are only very slightly exaggerated so that they'll work in this scale. but they don't look crazy big. The legs for the base are very well detailed. Yeah, it without putting it together first, I can't say much more about it, except it looks like it's going to be a nice kit, and it should go together real nicely. So I'll be looking forward to putting this together. So first impression, looks fine. Looks like a good plastic model kit, as you might expect from Atelier. So last thing I want to talk about is Rubicon resin kits. Now, this is the only one I have any experience with, but I'm assuming they're probably all about the same quality. This is a Citroen, or Citroen, however you pronounce that, a French car, civilian car, and probably could be used as like a staff car or something like that. I intend to just put it on the board as just an abandoned civilian vehicle, just a piece of terrain or something to hide behind. Now, I have opened this one up and looked at it already, but not terribly closely. Comes with a decal sheet and a nice plastic envelope like they always do to protect it from getting scratched up, so that's nice. Comes with this simple one-page instruction sheet and diagram, because it's a very simple kit, not a lot of parts. A little bit about the car and how to put it together. Now, what I want to show you guys is the parts. Now, everybody's seen resin vehicle kits. A lot of companies make them, and there's a lot of different levels of quality you'll find out there in resin kits. This is, I'm going to choose my words carefully because I mean this. This is the finest quality resin kit I've ever seen. The detail on the car itself is sharp, it's clean, it's just, great quality. The casting is perfect. There are no flaws, no bubbles, no extra sprue hanging off that you have to trim. This is ready to assemble right now, just like a plastic model kit. Even better than a plastic model kit, because when you pull parts off a sprue, you're always cleaning up, little bits here and there. This is ready to go. I'm not sure what kind of molds they're using, what techniques they're using to do this. It's probably some sort of vacuum casting, or at the very least pressure casting, and definitely multi-piece molds, because the bottom of this model is hollow. This looks like something that would come out of an injection molding process. This is not normally what you would see in a resin model. A resin model in most manufacturers would be solid in here. It would just be solid resin. This was designed and manufactured like an injection molded plastic model kit, and therefore it has that kind of quality to it. This is the bottom of the car, goes in there. Fits like a dream. It is just amazing how well that fits for a resin kit. And I know I do a lot of resin casting here. Resin shrinks. Parts, depending on how much resin in them, will shrink more than other parts. So getting a part like this to fit in a part like this is a lot of trial and error. Sometimes you'll have to remake the master for it many times, because this part might have to be a little smaller because this part's going to shrink, whatever. There's a lot that goes into this. So getting these parts to fit together this nicely is actually quite amazing, and they've done a beautiful job. This part here just drops right in there, fits like a dream. And there's the wheels, the bumpers, the headlights. Yeah, I mean, this is a resin kit, but to me it feels every bit like an injection molded plastic kit. And I can't say enough about the quality and how impressed I am with this. Speaking of quality and casting, if I hold this up to the light, I can see through these fenders. They are very, very thin fenders. And again, we do a lot of resin casting here, so I know the problems that occur in things like this. When you have parts that are that thin and all the rest of the parts are 50, 60, 80 thousandths thick, the rest of the model is going to cure a lot faster than these fenders are going to cure. So when you pull this out of the model, out of the mold, you better be sure those fenders are thoroughly cured, or they're just going to be flexible and they're going to be a disaster. So they've really worked out the technique on this and made a really nice kit. Okay, well, I got interrupted there for just a second by the doggies showing up, but I was about ready to wrap up anyway, so just want to say Rubicon resin cast kits, definitely a winner. I mean, this is the first one I've seen, the only one I've seen, but if they're all like this, then they're amazing. I don't remember the price on this kit, but I don't believe it was very cheap, but it's whatever it was, it's worth it. It's a very nice kit, and I'm really impressed. So that's coming from a guy that does resin casting for a living and has been doing it for decades. Respect to these guys. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what technique they're using, you know, how they're making their tooling and their molds, but whatever they're doing it right. So there you go. So that's it for tonight. These three products, they all look like winners. I'm gonna be building all of them. These are mine now. So we'll see how they come out, and maybe in a future episode you'll see me using all of these. Pretty sure you're gonna see this on the board at the tournament. Not tournament. We're running a game at the Strategicon event at the end of this month in Los Angeles, and I'll probably have this out as just a piece of terrain on the board. I won't be having the flak gun because that's not part of the scenario. Some of the Americans might make it. We'll see how that goes. That's it for now, I think. We'll see you guys next time, and keep on gaming.